Good morning, Swati. Warm welcome to you on behalf of APAC News Network. We are a media organization headquartered out of Noida, and our primary focus is government, healthcare, education, enterprise, IT, and BFSI. So, primarily in the discussion today, we would like to start maybe before we come to the solution specifically, in terms of the story behind the genesis of Edufiq and how it came about, and what are the solutions and services that this platform offers.
So, good morning, Mr. Rajneesh. Thank you for the introduction that you said about yourself. It helps me to set the tone. So, going directly, as you have wanted to know about the genesis of Edufiq, Edufiq was conceptualized to fill the gap between the academia and the industry, right? There's seen, if you have read about the NEP, the National Education Policy, and about our Honorable Education Minister, Mr. Dharmendra, talking about it, it's based on technology. But if you go back to the back end and see the schools and see the skills or see the curriculum that is being taught, doesn't fit the industry at all. So we came in as a stopgap arrangement, or I would say not stopgap. I would say that we came in with a full set of skills and tools that the teachers and students could learn, so that they could be industry ready. They could have the skill set that the industry requires and grow up and specialize in courses which demand such skills. And you have seen that how data science and artificial intelligence and coding, everything is becoming so much part of curriculum. So this is where the genesis of Edufiq started, and this is how we conceptualized it since 2019.
Okay, and that's the story behind the starting. Now, once in 2019 you launched, you can just give a background in terms of, you mentioned some of the uh, courses or disciplines which need to be imparted to the students for making them industry ready. So, what specifically are those areas that you are working with, and then we'll come to the specifics.
Correct. So if I just mentioned few subjects that have been brought out by especially CBSE as a board for students to learn as skill subjects. But I will want to talk about Edufiq as we promote the understanding of artificial intelligence. Now, why artificial intelligence? Because this is an all-pervasive, skill that requires to be in everything. Right. For example, if you're talking to your phone, right, you and I see the Google Map, you reach that destination, but we don't know back end how it is happening, right? So it is a skill that some people must be doing it, which is introduced, taught somewhere, and then they get into that skill, and that is how they get to the end result of it, right? So we as Edufiq, we wanted this skill sets to be taught in the schools early years, so that the children have an exposure right from the beginning to the end, and then you never know how which child would want to specialize in what and take it forward from there. If you want me to talk about the specifics, I would want to talk about it, but right now I think the answer to your question was
Sure.
happening.
So now, once you talk about artificial intelligence, it's a very broad area that would include basically analyzing data. So data analytics would be part of it. Data science, obviously, that means is a part of it. Then there are certain other techniques like augmented reality, virtual reality, or gamification. So what I want to now understand is the scope, because just as artificial intelligence is a very broad thing, and what exactly are the scope of the things that you offer as a solution, and how is it course segmented? for students, and for students also to understand of which classes and what are taught to students of each of those specific classes.
Great. So you had there were lots of questions in one sentence. So I will take it one by one as it goes. Now, to start with, as you very rightly said, AI is vast, right? There can be no beginning or no end to AI. You cannot draw a map like that. Fine. For example, because I am from the school sector, I would tell you that when you started or when we started learning science, right, in class 6, we got divided into physics, chemistry, and biology, right? The physics that we studied in class 6, obviously, the people who are graduating or post-graduating or do it in PhD, physics was entirely different from what we did in school in class 6. Same thing with artificial intelligence and Edufiq technologies. We are giving the fundamentals of AI. We are making the foundations so very strong that if some child wants to get up and go up the ladder and be on it, these courses will help them to do it. Now, what are the classes that we cater? We cater right now from classes 5th to 10th standard. But we do have a vision of broadening this as we go forward, right? Now, this courseware is totally an experiential courseware. Our ethos or our bottom line is that we teach in that experiential method. To teach in that experiential method, we have two methodologies. We go with game-based learning and we go with hands-on activities. As you have very rightly said, because it is so very vast, if the courses are not progressive, then the children will get lost in the universe. So it is very, very carefully crafted and very, very progressive from class 5 to class 10, so that each level is something new. Each level brings in something which is required, helps to build that skill set, and then it goes from one level to the other. So this is broadly how we do it. If you have time and if you would want me to explain about both our methods, I would be more than happy. But right now, this is how our courseware is developed. Just to reiterate the line, we develop the fundamentals of AI in children in schools, starting from 5th standard to 10th standard.
Thanks. I'll definitely like you to briefly explain, but before that, one very critical aspect of this. You mentioned experiential learning. Now, experiential learning is obviously extremely beneficial. However, keeping in mind that most of the Indian boards still it's more a by rote kind of learning, we all understand. So now the challenge here is from 5th to 10th standard. One, how do you sort of integrate an experiential learning experience, if I may use, within that within the curriculum that they are working, that they are studying? And second, most important point is, where are the teachers with the relevant skill sets? Even for experiential learning, it has to be helped by the teachers, but where are the teachers with those relevant skill sets?
Great, great. So I think we break it up again one by one, right? I will start with what do you want me to start with? Start with the relevant skill sets, or the boards with rote memory, right? So let me
Yeah.
get the boards with the rote memory, right? Now, Indian education has always been rote memory, right? At least when I studied, there was nothing else that what the teacher gives it to us, you just reproduce that, right? All your critical thinking, logical doesn't work. But things have changed, and things are changing for the better. Especially a progressive board like CBSE, they have brought in continuous comprehensive evaluations. They are bringing in logical thinking, and if you see the Bloom's technology, the Bloom's taxonomy, the way it goes, right now, it is no more a knowledge based. We have come to the collaboration and the critical thinking stage. So experiential learning is very, very important in this stage, because the children are now getting out of that rote memory stage, and the schools are also wanting the children to get out. Now, how do we fit in our experiential learning model? Our experiential learning model is based into two methodologies, as I said. The first one is the game-based methodology, the game-based learning approach. This approach is used for classes 5th, 6th, and 7th. Why did we choose that section for the game-based learning? Because children, and you can vouch everywhere that a visual impact is a much higher impact, right? And games is what attracts children the most. So what we came out is on a platform called Minecraft, which is the world's most second largest played game in the world, right? When Microsoft bought Minecraft, they came out with an education version. So we are tutoring the children on that education version so that they could create their own worlds, they could collaborate within themselves, and they also learn the process of AI. What is AI? In layman's term, I am not a technologist, nor are the teachers in schools. But AI is all about coding and the data sets that are behind, right? And if you want to teach a hardcore coding to a child in the school, the child may or may not be interested because I don't see coding as my career. And in class 5, Mr. Rajneesh, who will want a career, right? It's all about fun learning. So Edufiq is joyful learning. So we brought in this game-based learning on Minecraft where our experienced tutors. Now, I come to your second part of the question where you said that the schools are devoid of skilled teachers. I totally agree with that. That is why we took the onus on ourselves. We have designed the courseware. We have our trainers, we have our facilitators who are in office, everyone certified, industry certified, getting regular upgradations. We have instructional designers who are designing our content, and we are giving online courses to the schools. We don't want anything from the school to come in. We set up our infrastructure, we set up our educators, and our courseware is delivered online. Depending on the timetable of the school, we have a batch size, maybe from 15 to 25 to 30 maximum, right? We don't go beyond that because it is not possible. And every child who comes to our platform gets that license. We have all the prerequisites of how you will download the license, how you will put it, how you will play it. When the child is ready, our course material starts. That is for the game-based learning. Now, how is experiential learning to be addressed? Now, I just wanted to show you because I thought it was apt. This is our self-designed indigenous kit that we have designed, right? This is Edufiq Experiential AI Kit. This is how the box looks with all sorts of instructions that are there. Now, let me open the Pandora's box for you, and just to show you how we go through this. This is the kit that we have, right? And this is integrated with our courseware to be able that every child gets this kit. While the modules are being taken up by our facilitators from our premises, they get to have a total hands-on because whatever the instructor does online, the child is also doing it. And this is the heart of our experiential learning. This is a microprocessor, right? This is a microprocessor. And if you see this, there is a Bluetooth speaker, wireless, there is a USB port that can be put in. And there are numerous things that can be done with this. So children learn directly through this. And because they have the kit, right? So as the instructor takes them, they are also doing it. And we have very, very carefully designed projects so that learning at the end of the day happens. All our courseware is mapped to learning objectives, from learning objectives to the methodology, the teaching aids, and to the learning outcomes. What happens, right? So we do understand that there's a scarcity of teachers in the school, skilled teachers in the school. We are also filling in that gap because we are taking the ownership. We are making sure that a school transformation happens. It's a school transformation journey. In this school transformation journey, we handhold the teachers, the parents, and the students. So that learning is 360 degrees. Thank
Okay,
you for appreciating.
thanks. Uh, just an aside, since you started in 2019, I'm just confirming with you. So, by design, within from early 2020, we have been only online classes. So, I think initially this was designed as a physical training methodology. So,
Correct.
how did that migration to the online training methodology happen?
Yes, yes. So, as very rightly said, in 2019, when we had conceived Edufiq, it was supposed to be physical, where we would have set up AI labs in schools, right, with the full acoustics, with the speakers, the video cameras, the LED panels, everything. What we realized, right, or it was the our visions, Osborne and my vision, that things, the module training would be online. We never left that to the schools because it was a uphill task to teach the teacher. Now we can teach the teacher the best, but don't get me wrong, but maybe the teacher will not give the best to the student. So what happens is that gap which Edufiq wanted to bridge will always remain. So when COVID hit us, or when the pandemic started, it was not much of a shift for us. What we did is, instead of the physical lab, we started sending the kits to the students to their homes through the school. And we also sent the licenses to the children, that was easy to download, right? So what happened was just a shift, right, from either from students coming to school to the students staying in their house and learning the same way that we had planned to do it.
Okay, understood. This brings us to the question of you mentioned earlier with CBSE. So, this should bring out your operational and business model. So, do you collaborate with CBSE or is it with specific schools? And how is one is the operational model with school, and specifically, how is your business model on this?
Right. We have not collaborated with CBSE because CBSE as a board cannot collaborate with private partners, right? But what we did is, we as a training organization had lots of schools who are enrolled with us in various categories, in various training activities, right? So our model now, our first model right now that we are doing, which is also on revision, we went to the schools. So it is B2B, and through the schools we went to the students. So it was B2B to C. This was absolutely what to say, it was such a smooth sail because we already had connects with the schools. The schools believed that there is a gap, and many of the schools had applied for AI as a subject. They did not have the skills required to teach that subject, so we fit in very nicely. So that is our model right now. But we also have going to start embark on this journey of B2C directly, where our courses will be online available and the students can come to us. Because see, in a country like India, we will not be able to go to every school in India. It is going to take us a humongous task, right? So the schools that are with us right now for the next 1 or 2 years, we are going to do that model and simultaneously start the B2C model where our courses will be available online too.
So now, till you start the B2C model, I'd like to know two things. One, in the existing B2B model, how many schools are currently you are partnered with, and maybe some of the marquee schools that you can mention. Another part is a challenge again in a diversified country like India, and experiential learning will need there are so many boards and there are so many vernacular languages across India different. So experiential learning, especially for fifth, sixth and seventh, where it's more of the game based learning you mentioned through Minecraft. So is this catering to only English currently, or to the multiple languages that different boards, other than the central boards, different state boards, or are you catering only to the schools belonging to CBSE right now?
So let me start with what you asked, how many schools we are currently working with. So just to tell you that we started this live, we went live only in June 2021, right? We started it in June 2021. Our courses went live. We have now got associated, we have conducted our exercises with 22 schools as of now. So in June, July, and August, we finished 22 schools. We have, for this year, we have 480 schools which have been earmarked for us. 480 schools earmarked, and we are surely going to reach our targets. Now, this is pan India. You wanted some marquee schools. I don't know what marquee schools would mean for you, because every school is so very important for us. But if DPS is a marquee school for you, so we have DPS, 3, 4 DPSs which are with us. And see, because this is a live event, and I'm sure this is going to go live. So if I mention some names and do not mention some names, we in the market will not be very considered well. So if you talk about if I talk of the chains, we have the Birla Open Minds chains that is with us. We have the Bal Bharti schools that are with us. We have the DPSs, as I said. We have a very strong chain in Gujarat, which is called the Navrachna schools. They are with us. We have the BK Birla schools with us, right? We have the Heritage group of schools with us, and the Shivnadar schools in Noida, and Noida, Gurgaon, and Faridabad, all of them are there. And we are in talks with various schools. Now, we primarily did start with the CBSE schools because CBSE came out with the skill subject, so it was easier for us to connect. But as you say, that vernacular is very, very important. We do teach now in Hindi and English, right? But we are also, if there is a demand, because we're just 3 months in the market, we have expertise of teaching in the vernacular languages also. But that is a program that is going to come soon. It is being developed. And and I think you asked about the vastness of the country, right? How does this program go? This program the vastness has not deterred this program at all, because everything is online, right? You just need a device, which most of the students are having a device now because of the pandemic. So the licenses are sent to the schools. They do it. They download the licenses and they're up for it. And now, because the children are not coming to schools, every kit is being couriered to the children personally to their homes, so that they could have access to that. I hope I've answered what you want.
Yeah. One more thing, and again, this is somehow ingrained in our school system. There has to be some form of evaluation or assessment to basically gauge how whether students have learned the subject at all. And if there is no assessment, then there's automatic tendency of not giving so much importance. So, is there right now any model to do an assessment on this?
Yes. We are a technology company, right? And we are teaching AI. So AI is also used for evaluation, right? We have our own AI system for evaluating the learning progress of the children. If you remember, I told you first, our courses are progressive, right? What you learn in class 5 will be carried over to class 6. So we will have to assess how much the child has learned. So this AI has been built, right? We are using data science, and we are using our algorithms and everything to understand that. And we have also that analytics, right, which is helping us, the AI analytics, which is helping us to assess the children's, the modalities, what is the progress. We also have detailed reporting, which goes to the school. See, because the school has also believed in us to run this program in their school. So obviously the parents and the schools want to know how is it happening. So we also have a detailed reporting system back to the principals, so that they know that their 1,000 children who have enrolled, this is the progress. So AI is in our evaluation also.
Another very critical aspect is in terms of the pricing, and especially currently in the B2B model, how is the pricing, and how that translates into what the students need to pay. And also in future, as you say, that you will be going to a B2C model, what would be the pricing there?
All right. You want me to, directly come to our pricing right now? We do understand first and foremost the situation that is in the country right now, right? Because of pandemic, most of us have, hit. Parents are on low on budget. Parents are schools are not getting their fees. There has been lots of financial problems. So we what to say, we developed something that a child, a parent could afford and a child could learn. So to start with our B2C model, we have 40 modules. It can be stretched over a period of 1 year or 4 months or 6 months as the school wants it to happen, right? So it is 40 modules. We could do one per week, we could do two per week. Some schools are also asking us to go beyond school hours, right, and do the models. It is a continuous comprehensive model. So this model allows us to cater to both B2B and B2C. For B2B, our prices are very, very, moderately fixed at 26,000 for 40 modules. So we could do the division. And if you are going through the school, because the school is, helping us to reach out to the parents and the children directly, it is on a 50% discount that we give it to the schools for 40 modules.
Fair enough. Now, my question is, if we look at a little in future, so one of the things you mentioned is there are plans to go to a B2C model. So I want to know what are going to be the key focus areas. That will be one in terms of the further evolution of the course itself, new features and new things added, to school-wise expansion, then the B2C, that's a business model expansion, geographical expansion, whatever else. So my question is, if we look at the, say, next 2 academic years, what would be the planned focus areas or trust areas for Edufiq?
Right. So right now, as I said, we are in version 1, V1. Our V2, V3 is going to evolve. It's already evolved. We're just putting the things into place. So V1 will get into V2, V3, V4 as we go ahead. Because as we said, it is a progression. We cannot stick to one model all the time, because this and technology is so very quickly evolving, right? Changes are so very required. So we have an entire support system at our back end, right, to help us do this evolution, taking into the national education policy into the best account. Because you have just heard Mr. Dharmendra, is talking about this in all the conferences. Technology has to take its part, and thanks to the pandemic, the schools that we were running behind, that please take technology as an aid, has now come back to us, that please help us with technology. So our version 1 is just started. We're just 3 months old in version 1. Version 2, version 3 is on the way. Now, geo expansion is what is the focus, because we cannot afford to be only geo limited. We have to go for geo expansion. As I said, this year target is 480 schools. We go on to do more and more as we go ahead. And see, it is not only CBSE as a board, right, which you rightly brought in. There is, the number of schools. I don't know, whether I can mention. And believe me, with this pandemic, even though the cities, you may not even have heard the names of the cities, we have schools in those cities which are running online programs, right? And because our program doesn't need a lot of internet bandwidth, right? Because you just need to connect. You're not doing activities online, right? So, and our future is also on the Middle East and US and Europe. As we grow, know, all the good wishes from everyone, our very hardworking team, and my co-founder Osborne D'Souza. We are going to touch the horizon.
So you came about the team. So I wanted to know the development. The team that was involved in the development, if you can give their profile, what exactly, because and once the versions 2 and 3 also you are mentioning that are evolving. So what is the profile of your development team and their experience?
So our main person behind the scene is Mr. Osborne D'Souza, who is, what do I say? He's a technologist per se, right? He has a huge experience of more than 40 years, and in the tech field, he's a computer science engineer by profession. So it is, the brainchild, and it's come. The people behind, we have are the people who have come out from the computer science background. We have full stack developers, we have instructional designers, we have trainers who are facilitators from the school background to tell us what it can happen. We have the marketing companies. We have our marketing head in our office who looks after all the aspects of how it is going to go to the market. And most importantly, we have school teachers in our team who constantly bridge that gap between the school and the industry that we are catering to. We also have now onboarded content developers and game developers also, who are trying, we are, see, as I told you, Mr. Rajneesh, we are just few months old, right? And it is an evolution that is happening. But yes, the requirement for these people have come in, so we have started hiring these people also.
So one small business question from here. What is your go-to-market strategy in terms of acquiring newer schools? How do you go for the newer schools?
Newer schools is obviously marketing, right? That's nothing can be better than the social media. So we have a Marcom agency with us, and our marketing head who sits out of our office. They are building our brand, right? Our brand building is on process, and I'm sure now you may be coming across Edufiq. It might be popping up on your phones or on your devices sometime. So that is the first thing that is happening, the GTM. Our second GTM is that we have a very strong sales team, which who are very very acquainted with the schools directly. So that is another route to market, that we are directly visiting schools and doing it. And the social media is already there. So it's a very nice amalgamation of both these. And our brand building is, it's in, maybe we've reached 50-60%. It is still going on, and we hope to be more visible.
Thanks a lot for that, taking out time. Really appreciate this.
Same here. A sincere thank you to you for coming and reaching out to us.
Sure. Thank you.